How's it going, guys? Today we're going to talk about networking, which is one of the most crucial aspects of running a one-person business or building your personal brand, okay? Building connections and finding support can be a huge game changer for your business. So let's dive into some effective tips that are useful for all types of solopreneurs, personal brands, one-person businesses, no matter your experience or the size of your business, okay? First and foremost, we should understand that running a one-person business can feel very isolating, okay? But building a network of connections can provide a lot of benefits in that sense, okay? It's gonna be isolating because you're gonna notice that not many people around you in your immediate inner circle are trying to build businesses. And even if they are, not many of them are trying to build one-person businesses or trying to build personal brands, because it's a relatively new idea, concept, and a lot of people haven't caught on yet, okay? Like, you may think a lot of people have caught on, and you might be a bit biased just because of the type of content you're consuming. And you see a lot of people consuming similar content. But like in the aggregate, like in the large scale of things, it's a very small minority, okay? So networking, right? Networking can provide connections, and these connections can provide a lot of benefits, right? The first benefit is you're gonna have support and advice. So connecting with other solopreneurs and business owners can provide you with valuable advice and support, which is gonna help you navigate challenges and make more informed decisions, okay? I can't overstate how important this one benefit is, especially when you're first starting off and you're beginning your journey as a one-person business, okay? Once you begin to slowly build relationships through consistent DMs, providing positive feedback on people's content, and providing ideas, right? Commenting on their posts and sharing their content, you'll find that after an initial phase or rapport building, you'll be able to ask certain creators or solopreneurs with more experience than you for advice. And depending on the type and the quality, right, I would say, of relationship you're able to build, you might even be able to count on that person for emotional support and motivation. And trust me, this is huge, okay? This is very huge, especially because you'll be able to talk to someone on a more personal level about an issue or issues that aren't necessarily technical, right? Or that don't revolve around skills or strategy, but issues more having to do with certain anxieties that you're gonna face along the way, okay? This is crucial because you'll come to notice that not many people, like I said, not many people in your inner circle or immediate social net of friends will be able to relate to certain anxieties and doubts that you're gonna encounter as you work on building up your personal brand, okay? I personally find that being able to count on someone that has gone through the type of, let's say, emotional hurdles that you're currently going through, or that I was currently going through at a given time, was like, I think that was key. That was fundamental for me, having stayed on the path, you know, and just not having, I'm not gonna say completely quit, right? Because once you decide to do something, you can never quit. Like, you can pivot when it makes sense, but the overall goal, you can't quit the overall goal. You can just maybe try different methods of accomplishing that goal. So not quitting, but sometimes you're gonna find that sometimes you're overwhelmed with anxieties, and you kind of pause, you know, you kind of hit the pause button, you kind of slow down, and for days, weeks, even months on end. So like just being able to count on someone that they can relate to what I was going through at the time, because they had already gone through it themselves, and they can give me some type of advice that has really helped me out in the past and has really closed that window, that gap. You're at a standstill, right? So just being able to reduce that standstill, let's say from a week to a day, it's huge. It's pretty significant, okay? Or you'll find that sometimes an emotional barrier is a lot harder to cross than compared to, let's say, a technical or skill-related issue, okay? It's easier to find tips, advice, and even like a specific framework on how to learn a skill and solve a certain technical issue, how to troubleshoot X thing, right? You can find guides for this. But when it comes to like the emotional side of things, it's a bit harder, okay? And sometimes we need to hear like the reassurance of someone that has gone through something similar, that what we are feeling is completely normal, and it will pass if we just maintain course and continue working. It's something about hearing it from someone else that hits a lot harder than reading like advice or something on a web page, or finding just advice on Google, okay? Like, you can find the same advice on Google that someone will tell you in person, but that human factor plays a huge role on like just the way your psyche interprets the information. So yeah, like just keep that in mind. And whenever you're feeling stressed out or anxious about something, reach out to someone in your network of solopreneurs and briefly mention anxiety. And you'll notice that 9 times out of 10, most of these people are pretty cool. So like 9 times out of 10, you're gonna notice that it's a common feeling. You're gonna get some type of feedback from them. And don't expect a therapy session, but you will get some words of reassurance, and you're gonna notice that it's a common feeling and that it will blow over before you know it. So there just really isn't any sense of giving it much thought or blowing it out of proportion. Sometimes these anxieties, we let them take hold of just our mind for a given amount of time, and we completely blow it out of proportion. Okay? But remember to be somewhat subtle on the way you communicate the issue, especially depending, like you have to gauge this depending on your relationship, the level of trust that you've been able to establish with this person. But because you don't want to come off as like someone needy or emotionally unstable. And the point of this is not to unload a lot of like all your emotional baggage on to someone else. Cause then you're not doing anyone any favors, really. But more so just to elicit like some type of feedback that will help you put your anxiety in context and hopefully assist in alleviating it. So another huge advantage of building a network of solopreneurs and like-minded individuals is that you're setting yourself up to come across a lot more opportunities, okay? Networking can open up doors and new opportunities, such as like collaborations, partnerships. You might even get new clients, customers through referrals. And once because you're gonna reach out to people that are in a general sense, they're solopreneurs building the same brand, but that brand is not necessarily in the same niche, So that's what I'm saying. You might even be able to get some type of, like through that interaction, they might refer you customers, or they might help promote your type of business, because there's not a direct competition, okay? So just be open mind, like keep an open mind to that, and know that those are some possibilities, that can come from these interactions. And once you feel comfortable enough with someone in your network, you can reach out to them and ask them for different forms of collaboration as well. This can be asking to share your posts, or maybe to join you on a podcast. But it's very important to keep in mind the incentives this person may have and is most likely to have, and the value that they're gonna receive in exchange, okay? So having this in mind, you should, prior to just approaching anyone for direct collaboration, you should already be providing some type of value. This could be by leaving a positive thought or provoking comment on their posts, sharing their content, giving them useful and actionable advice during like your DM conversations. For example, one way to provide a lot of value is to try to notice maybe a particular problem that person might be encountering in their business, say something related to their social media growth, could be, right? Their social media strategy, or maybe a reoccurring issue people in their audience in the comments of their posts have expressed, right? And then providing a solution to that problem. So if you're able to do this, it's almost guaranteed that the person will value you more than a lot of other people that are just DMing asking for favors, okay? You will definitely make yourself stand out, and the person might feel the need or even the want to kind of like reciprocate that favor, you know, because like, hey, this person helped me out. It's a human feeling to try to help someone else out that has helped us out before. If they generally see you as an interesting and valuable person, they are most likely going to be happy to join you on a podcast. You know, you say you invite them on a podcast and see what they can offer or what they can also learn from you, right? From just interacting. Say that they've learned from you in the past, from DMs, from comments. They're gonna be like, why not? You know, let me talk to this person 20 minutes, half hour, 45 minutes, and maybe I'm gonna get some value out of the conversation as well. So that's one thing, another thing to keep in mind. Another way to provide value or stand out among the crowd is to genuinely show interest in that person's content, okay? And their ideas, okay? Maybe you can highlight an idea of theirs that you found interesting, and maybe that idea was interesting, you got value from it, but it wasn't necessarily a high performing idea or post of theirs, right? And this will let them see that you take the time out to review their content, which makes anyone feel good, right? Because like, wow, this person took the time out. Man, look, I've done this before in the past for like job interviews where I've actually researched the business before sitting down and speaking to, you know, either the manager or the HR guy, the human resource person, right? And they were impressed because people actually enjoy that someone else has taken the time out to learn a bit about them, right? I've done this actually even for teachers in the past, like college professors, where they've written papers in the past and I will go and I'll read the paper and people will feel good about it, man. They're like, wow, I'm impressed because not even my colleagues take the time out to find out what I'm doing or what I've done. This works really good on like relationships. If you meet someone, say through social media, you could not in a creepy way now, but like you can kind of look into what their interests are. So you can have a lot more topics of conversation and you can relate to them, right? And again, it shows that you've taken interest in them, and that makes most people feel good. It's gonna let them know that you took the time out to review their content and you don't just want to like feed off of their high performing posts or ideas, which is a lot easier to do, right? Because what I'm advising you to do is to try to spot and identify good ideas, but didn't necessarily resonate with the audience. So they weren't necessarily high performing ideas. And you can actually give them advice on how they can reword these ideas and kind of revamp them in order for them to gain more engagement, because you'll notice that you can say the same thing 1,000 ways. So maybe it's not what they said that wasn't engaging, but maybe the way they said it. So like you can always come to them with a new approach, a new perspective, and maybe that advice you give them will help them in their endeavor, right? So they're gonna definitely be grateful for that. You can even go a bit further by creating your own posts or tweets. If you're on X, relate the idea that they've expressed, right? So you can create a Twitter post related to the idea that they've expressed and send it to them on a DM, and just to let them know like, hey, look, I saw your idea, I really loved it. I created my own post, kind of my own spin on it. I just wanted you to see. And 9 times out of 10, they're probably gonna post. You know, they're probably gonna post a comment on your idea. They're probably gonna repost your tweet. So it's a win-win, right? So just let them know, and let them know that they were the inspiration for it, right? And this will make them feel good and admired, which is always a plus, you know? And in turn, it will help you stand out a bit more on their radar, and definitely set yourself apart from just people that are just texting, hey, what's up, man? Can you do this and this for me? Or I want to know, like just asking for favors. Always provide a ton of value up front, always, ton of value up front, and then ask for some type of favor, okay? Always do that in everything, personal branding and in life in general, and you're gonna see that you're gonna be able to build stronger and more valuable relationships, because people will then be eager to reciprocate, to provide more value to you, since in hopes, or it just creates like this relationship where it's a circle, right? It's a positive circle where you're creating value for them, they're creating value for you, you in turn create more value for them, they in turn create more value for you. So it's just a way to build a lot stronger, more productive relationships in general, okay? A third benefit from building a network for solopreneurs is knowledge sharing, right? A lot of knowledge sharing can come from these relationships. Engaging in a network is going to allow you to share knowledge from and learn from other people's experiences, keeping you updated on trends and best practices, right? So like all of this is kind of leading towards this. Like the main objective of building your network is mainly to be able to piggyback off of people's knowledge. But you have to do it in a way where it does not seem as if you're trying to take it. It seems that like it's a mutually beneficial relationship, right? Because again, you're gonna know things that they don't know and you're gonna provide that knowledge to them as well. So it's gonna be a win-win. It's probably one of the best and the cheapest ways to stay up to date, honestly, because you'll learn from what others have learned through their experience and in some cases through courses, right? So you can like, just imagine the benefits of learning for free, something that someone had to pay hundreds of dollars for just to learn. So this can be possible just by having them in your network and developing a positive and again, mutually beneficial relationship, okay? Just remember the saying that your network is your net worth. And this is definitely true for solopreneurs, okay? So just keep that in mind when seeking information to learn from others. It's always good to do like, don't just ask people for, hey, how do I do this and that you can, like, there's so many things you can learn nowadays online. Like, so like, cause this is what I want to stress. Like, don't get used to asking, like, even once you've built this network, don't get used to just asking people to learn certain things that, I'm going to give you an example. Besides my personal business, right? And the freelance work that I do, the personal branding that I build, I'm into filmmaking, right? And I have other friends that are into filmmaking as well. But when I was learning film, I wouldn't just text them and be like, and ask them, hey, how can I learn how to shoot an S-Log format, right? It's a certain format you shoot when you're filming, when you're capturing footage that's going to be later be color graded, right? How do I shoot in log format? Where there's tons of videos on how to shoot in log format, right? So it's not like, it's kind of showing, if I would have done that at that earlier stage, it would have shown that I was really lazy and I wasn't really invested in what it is I was learning, but I was just trying to take the easy route and just asking for all the answers. So it's like, I would, instead of asking them, again, I would look for tutorials, I would look online and I would learn. Then I would ask the more difficult questions, you know, like things that aren't easily found online. It's always good to do some due diligence and research beforehand. Okay, this would allow you to formulate your questions a lot better and be as precise as possible, which at the end has at least it has two benefits, right? Like on the one hand, the person whom you are addressing the question will see that you're actually putting some time in and thought into the specific topic before approaching them. So this will help you come off as a more informed person and avoid being, again, perceived as lazy. And on the other hand, when you dive into topics before just bombarding someone else with general questions, not only do you come off as a more informed individual, but you're actually able to get more value out of that transaction, out of that conversation. Because this will allow you to pick someone's brain for a very specific question. And given their level of expertise, you'll be able to come across valuable insights that won't necessarily be able to find on Google or pages that just like slightly touch upon something, right? Going back to my filmmaking example, I was then able to ask certain directors certain problems that they had on set, like very specific problems that some of them may have even had to do even with advice on how to work and deal with your team when certain things weren't, like there was certain friction or certain things you weren't really seeing certain things eye to eye. So it's like how they've dealt with that issue in the past. Like that's kind of advice that's not technical, not easy to find, And that person knew how to handle that situation because of his years of experience, because he had handled that situation countless times, the right way and the wrong way, and he found the right way to do it, and he was just able to easily save me 5 years of headaches, you know? So that's what I mean. Try to do your due diligence. Like, always keep in mind, it's always a good idea to invest some time and energy in researching the topic before approaching someone else who is a lot more knowledgeable in this subject. But at the same time, try to maintain, of course, a certain balance. Like, you don't have to become an expert in the subject either, because that kind of defeats the purpose of having that person in your network and being able to count on them for advice. But just enough information so you don't come off as lazy, or you don't waste someone's time. You know, you don't waste an opportunity. It's like, see, like if they're very high level individuals, like high value individuals, you have to see it as, or say like, okay, I can only ask this person 10 things in a given amount of time, or 5 things in 5 months. So you don't want to waste those opportunities on things you could have learned on your own. Okay, you want to make sure they count. So keep that in mind. Don't have to be an expert, but do some type of like due diligence before just approaching anyone with a random general question. It's gonna help you look better. You're gonna be able to get a lot more value out of the conversation, and you're gonna get into the habit of researching things, right? So it's gonna help you learn better as well. So yeah, you look better, you learn more, and you're perceived as a more high level and informed individual, and you set yourself apart. So yeah, guys, these are pretty much the benefits I feel, or at least I think I went over 3, at least like the 3 most important benefits of networking. There's a ton more, but for me, these are like the 3 most important ones. Start networking at the beginning of your journey. That's another thing. Don't wait until you've been at this for a year, you know, before you start networking. Start networking right away. Network with people at your level, network with people below your level, and network with people a few steps ahead of you. Network in different tiers, because it's all going to be valuable at the end of the day. All of it's going to be valuable for different reasons. And those people that are at your level and below your level, you'll be surprised if you stick with this long enough and you're able to identify people that are very goal orientated and very disciplined. You'll be surprised how fast they're going to move up the ranks. So like they may like leap from below your level to your level, even exceed you. So it's really good to make strong relationships when someone is at like their early stages, just because your relationship with them is going to hold a lot more weight in the future, just because you approached them when many people didn't approach them, and you kind of grew with them. So there's just like more trust, and it's more of I don't want to say brotherhood, because you know there's brotherhood, sisterhood, like there's more, but it's gonna be like the relationship is just gonna be a lot stronger. So yeah, keep that in mind, guys. Network from day one, like literally from day one. And there's phases to this, right? So it's like you don't have to send DMs, but like identify who you're gonna follow. Begin showing support. You know, begin liking people's posts, their comments, their tweets, and begin commenting, right? Those are like very entry level forms of networking where it's not directly, so you're not really even like, you may not even necessarily stand out, like you're not really putting yourself out there yet. You begin to like really stand out when you begin to DM people. Then they're like, oh, this guy is, it's more intentional, because there's a million people that like and comment people's posts and never DM them. So it's like once you start DMing people, they're gonna know it's a lot more intentional, and they're gonna take you more seriously, and you're gonna be more in their radar. But you don't have to do that from the beginning. So there's phases to it, but start networking or building towards that network from the beginning, guys. It's gonna help you out a ton. And yeah, that's it for today, guys. The importance of networking for solopreneurs, one-person businesses, and people building their personal brand. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, the content. And like always, leave a comment and let me know what you feel about it. Let me know if there's some advice you want to share with the community, And until next time, guys, have a great day.